Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. In today's video, we're going to get back to work at the rabbit coop. In particular, I need to keep working on the rabbit coop caging system. And if you've seen the last video, you've seen me put down the base or the floor of the cages. So now I need to get up there, get some mesh down, hopefully get some dividers framed out and the actual cages themselves framed out. And see how much we can get done today. Outside, it's an overcast day, it's windy again as per usual. Not the best conditions for making a video, but I can't pass up on the opportunity to get some more work done, so I'll bring you guys along for that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, it doesn't rain. The forecast doesn't really call for rain, but around here our weather patterns change in our heartbeat, as I'm sure it probably does where you're at as well. So hopefully everything plays together and we get a good video and a good project progress done here today. But before I can start on that, I got to do our usual little bunny swap. Like I say, our 4 does are up in the rabbit coop now, and I'm going to be coming and going in and out of the coop so much that if I left them up there, is a good possibility that one or more would get out and escape into the wild. So I'm going to bring the does down, get them put into the rabbit house again as you've seen me do before, and hopefully have everything within control and get tools and everything brought up on site, and we'll get back to work. So let's head up to the rabbit coop as well. But before I do go, I did want to give a little update. I've mentioned in my previous video how I pulled my calf muscle. Anyways, it's the wonderful color of the rainbow these days. And just for my own purposes and documenting, what's going on in my life and my family's life, I'm just going to let you guys see what's going on. Maybe you've experienced something like this yourself, just so you know what I have going on here, and being transparent and documenting things as I like to do, get it on video. So nothing major to see. If you're squeamish at all, I don't think you need to look away. But fair warning either way that I'm just going to show you my leg. So, let's just have a quick look. I'll show you what I've been dealing with, and just so you understand how I've been working around this now and why I can't finish the swing set and do any major digging right now until it heals up a bit better. But rabbit coop work, I think I can do that. So bring you in close now, show you my leg. Don't get too excited. But alright, here it comes. Alright, so as I mentioned the other day, I guess maybe I'm out of shape, or my gut feeling, honestly, I'm just going to say it, my gut feeling thinks this may be related to inflammation and that as left over from COVID. It's just a gut feeling. I got no evidence to say that. It's just the way I've been feeling, the way my body's been feeling after having COVID. Just feel like general sense of inflammation in my body. And so whether that weakened my calf muscle in any way, or maybe I'm just out of conditioning or out of shape. But a couple of steps into trying to have a little race with my daughter, my right calf, I felt a big snap, pop, just like a rubber band snapping, and instant pain and instant limping. And I'm on about a week now since that happened. So anyways, here is the result of that. Alright, lots of bruising, lots of yellowing all the way around here from the old bruising now. So there it is in all its glory. Right, nice deep shade of purple. Was that Jimi Hendrix, deep shade of purple? I wish I knew my musicians a bit better. But that's where I'm at. I said bruising quite extensive all the way up here, so not what I would expect from pulling a muscle. Right? This is very abnormal for me. I've run, I've done things before. It's just really awkward injury for me. So that's why my mind has been really perplexed over what's going on with it. And I've also been dealing with a right arm tendonitis for over a month. So really awkward stuff, but there's the update. I wanted to get that on camera just for my own purposes and remembering what I've been through during all this. So that's that. So there you go, that's my little update for you now. So with all that said and done and shown, let's go get the does out of the rabbit coop. I'm actually going to bring you along for this again this time. I like updating you guys on how the bunnies are doing and including them in the video. So if you don't want to see me bringing the bunnies down, feel free to skip forward. You know, it's your prerogative. But I am going to film it and bring you guys along. Like I said, I just enjoy showing you the bunnies, and hopefully you enjoy seeing them. So let's go on up to the rabbit coop now and get some bunnies. Alright, here we are up in the coop, and I'll be honest, it's windier than I even thought. I don't know how this video is going to turn out at all now. You probably won't get to hear me say anything. Maybe that's a good thing. So I'm going to chase some bunnies here now. Let's see what we can get. One thing about having this here in the way, the cage bottom, is that they can kind of get away from me a bit easier. Trying to be sneaky, but they're also being sneaky. There's one. Alright, that's the first two. We'll head on down to the garage now and put them into the rabbit house. Alright, so here's our first available cage. And I'll get the first two does put in here. So I'll show you this little girl, or big girl. This is Hot Chocolate. Alright, she's quite long. There we go, a good little side profile of her. So she's probably one of our more skittish bunnies. But I think she might have like New Zealand genetics in her. I'm not totally sure. It's hard with bunnies to tell what their heritage is, but she came from a litter with one of the white ones up there, and it makes me think that she got some New Zealand in her. So I think she'll give off some pretty babies if we cross her with some of our bucks that we have. She's pretty focused there now. She's a little bit high alert, I think. She's not a fan of being held or transported, so I'll get her put into the rabbit house first. So next is Lemon. So Lemon is right here. She's another of the same litter as Hot Chocolate, so same kind of genetics. She's a bit smaller though. She's not as big as Hot Chocolate. Try to get a little side profile of her. Alright, so she's definitely lighter, more petite, but she's got a nicer temperament, I find. She's more calm, a little bit more relaxed. She comes over sniffing at your feet when you're in the coop and stuff. So she's a good one that I would breed for temperament, especially with our buck Cookie, who's a very nice temperament bunny. Cookie is a domestic mutt breed. So, but I really love the calm temperament. So if we were going to breed pet bunnies, I think Lemon would be a great one to cross with Cookie and hopefully get some nice temperament bunny offspring from them. Alright, so that's Lemon. Beautiful bunnies. Beautiful bunnies. so that's the first two does brought down. Now we'll go get the two albino whites. Alright, so here we are. I think they know what's coming. So I'm going to do a little bit of chasing again here now. Let's see. They're both sticking together. Let's see. It's hard to get down underneath the framing here when you got a bum leg. But I'm doing my best. Alright, that's one. Let's see if I can get in at the second. Like I say, getting prepared to do a job is a job in itself. There we are. Like I say, I'm trying to move slowly and methodically too, so I don't want to re-injure my leg. It is pretty prone to re-injury apparently. So. Alright, let's take these two down to the garage. Now, if you've seen me do this bunny swap before, you know that I need to take Smokey, or one of our bucks, out of here in order to put the does in. Because although Smokey is young, he might be fertile for all I know. So I'm going to take him out so he doesn't inadvertently breed with the two does. I'm just going to put him down in this box for now. Just temporarily. And then I'm going to put the two does in here, and then Smokey will go into the cat carrier. Now, this girl here, this is Cream. And Cream is the last doe that we procured. And the reason I know it's Cream is because she has a little nick out of her ear. She had that when we got her. As well, she kind of has the fluffy double chin, I want to call it. Because she has been a mother before. The previous owner said that she was bred and had kits of her own. So she's already developed that kind of fat pad around the neck. And apparently she was a good mom, so we'll look forward to her having more offspring. So there you go, that is Cream. Also a big bunny. I'm thinking she's a New Zealand white, albino white. But, you know, I don't know enough about the characteristics to really make the final call on that. But she'll go in there. And then we got one more right here. And this is Milky. Milky the second. We had a previous Milky. Don't scratch me, please. Alright, so this Milky is a little bit in the mood to be a little bit feistier. But anyways, Milky's ears are all intact, no real fat pad around the neck, and has not been previously bred. Okay, so that's Milky, and she does not want to be up in my arms right now. I can feel her tense and ready to claw. So let's get this opened up. Chill out, chill out, chill out. There we go. Alright, so with the does all inside now, I'll take Smokey out. And before I put him in the cat carrier, I'll show you Smokey. Just checking his nails. Alright, so this is Smokey. And you can see the little bit of gray on his ears, and I thought there used to be gray on his paws too, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Smokey is a New Zealand Flemish Giant mix. He's probably about 2 months old or so, probably a little older than that now. But he is going to be the breeding buck for those 2 white New Zealands. Because I'm hoping to get his New Zealand genes to show and give me some more albino New Zealand bunnies for meat production. Alright, so this is Smokey. And he'll go into the cat carrier, and the bunny swap will then be complete. He is feisty. There you go. There we go. Done. Alright, so at this point now I'm going to get some tools put in my cart, head up to the rabbit coop, and let's see what we can get done. Hopefully I didn't jinx it earlier. I felt a little bit of misting when I was walking up to the coop last time. So just by mentioning rain, apparently it summons it, right? So hopefully it does not come. It was just a light misting, it's over, hopefully. Okay, so I'll get my tools together and I'll meet you guys up at the coop and we'll see what we can get done. Alright everybody, so welcome back to the rabbit coop here now, where I'm going to be trying to plan out how the cages are going to go. And again, if you stuck by while I brought the does and everything down and had a little show and tell, appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the bunnies. Like I say, it's almost like a little bit of a show and tell, just enjoying the moment and sharing the bunnies. Because I always say that, and I don't know if any of you can relate, but you know, I'm in my 40s now, and never at any age have I reached a point where I said, oh, I think like an adult now. Never happened. Even when we had kids, when we got a house, when we started doing more adult-like things, never did my mind switch over to just this magical adult line of thinking. And I hope that it never happens. But maybe there are some of you out there, you're just like, oh yeah, no, I'm full adult. I don't think like a kid anymore. But me personally, I always think like a kid. I feel like I'm in my early 20s as far as my mindset goes. So maybe that's just immaturity. I don't know. But basically having a little show and tell of my bunnies, you know, it's a bit of fun for me. I like sharing that. Same as my kids go to school, they like to share and tell about the bunnies to their classmates. So I hope that kind of thing never dies off. I think more so I find it's a kid's frame of mind or a young adult's frame of mind in an aging body. And my leg has definitely shown that aspect to me lately. So I don't know. Hopefully the mindset never changes is basically the point. So hopefully there's some of you out there that can relate, because you know, we are kids at heart and we're getting all these pets and bunnies and chickens and all the animals we ever wanted, because we're not supervised anymore. Like some of the reels I watch on Instagram say, we're just so unsupervised. There's nobody supervising us. We're adult resources to get kid desires and fulfill them. So I think that's a big part of all this, on top of, you know, food security and sustainability and those adult topics that we need to address just based on our age and circumstance. So yeah, we got to design some cages, and basically like the back wall that I've done is going to be the rear of the cage. Like I don't need to mesh that, I don't need to do anything else with that. That's just going to be the rear of the cage. It's a cleanable flat surface, impermeable to urine and dirt, easily cleanable. First step's going to be laying down mesh on the floor. That's an easy decision, right? That'll be the first thing done. But as far as the dividers go, for the specific cages, like I need something to attach the divider onto on the rear wall. And that's going to be this frame, as well as, I guess, the ceiling boards or the top sill. So I need to kind of work things out as far as getting a couple of supports in the rear running from this frame to the height of the ceiling and attaching it onto the ceiling or the top sills on the side there. So that'll happen. I may even do that before I put down the mesh, because I don't want to trap the mesh underneath the framing of those dividers. So maybe that would be my first step. Just kind of weighing it all out here. I'll probably just shut off the camera for a couple minutes, weigh my options, and I'll come back and we'll get to work. And more than likely it's going to involve putting up those two rear supports first, because this middle one is easy. If you can tell, like, this goes right back the middle. I got all of this middle support for screwing into. I got a center ceiling runner that runs right into the middle. That's going to be simple. That's just going to be cut a piece of 2x4 and screw it on. It's these two side ones that I'm going to have to be a little bit trickier with. So. Alright, so we'll come back shortly and get those all attached, and then we'll get to the mesh. So I've had some time to think about it, and I am going to proceed the way I outlined it. And I'm gonna take care of the, what is it they call, the low-hanging fruit first. So that's this piece right here from the frame up to the ceiling. So it's 36.5 inches. So I'm gonna go cut a piece of 2x4 for that. We'll come in, get that attached, and then move on from there. Alright, let's go through the jungle gym here. So yeah, it was probably a good idea to get this done first before the mesh, so that I could actually get in between these rungs here. So I got this piece cut, and we'll get this in place. If I can get my Donkey Kong glue open. There we are. See if I can remove a little bit of a clog here. There we are. I got some 4-inch screws that I'm going to be using for this one. We'll see how that plays out. There. Alright, let's see how this goes. Very nice. There we are. This is our first divider attached. So I'm going to measure off the other two, and we'll probably have to do a little bit of modification at the tops to go around the trim that I got up there. But this should all work out okay. So 40 1/4 times 2. Let's get those cut. before I go and mount the two that I just cut, I need to accommodate for this header that or trim that I placed. And that's going to be 5.5 inches long and a little bit over 1 inch in depth, because it's not exactly flush with the wall all the way around. So let's say about 1 1/8 inches. Alright, so I'll take 1 1/8 inches of, we'll say, width by 5.5 long, and then when that fits in place, hopefully it'll just perfectly fit around that trim. And I'll do the same thing for the other one, so I'll get my jigsaw out, get that done, and we'll keep moving forward. Okay, so time for a moment of truth now, see if these worked out properly. In through the jungle gym again I go. I am very glad that I did not put the mesh on first. I'll just say that again. Otherwise I'd be on some kind of stepping stool leaning in over this or something. I don't know how I'd do it exactly. So let's size it up. And that looks spot on. So that's great. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'll put a bit of glue in the L, I guess, up here. A bit on top, a bit on bottom. Let's try that. Try not to get the glue everywhere now. Now, the only bad thing is, I forgot my level. I'm probably going to want it for these, because I don't have a center support to line up with, but I'll get the bottom screw in, because that's lining up perfectly with the bottom here. Right now. I'm not screwing into anything. I gotta back that up. I need to go down on an angle to get into the frame with this one. Like that. It's a good thing I caught myself there. Alright, and through the magic of movie making and a pretty well timed call from my wife, actually, I went down and got my level. So at this point now I can see how that is. And that is good right there. So we'll get this screwed on. Double check level again, or plumb I should say, right? These screws are terrible for stripping. I'm gonna swap it for another one. They claim to be high performance construction screws, but I don't believe it. Don't believe it one bit. You gotta be kidding me. They can't handle the pressure, these screws can't. It's not what I want to be doing with a bum leg. Try this again. There, that's one way of doing it. Alright, that's solid enough. I can put a couple of sideways ones in, I guess. Okay, so I've gone ahead and test fit the second one. I didn't want to just wing it. Anyways, it turns out we got a really good result. Is that this one, flush against this ceiling pole, ends up in the exact right spot, and it is plumb. So instead of having to go in this way, I can go this way into the ceiling support. But I guess I'm still going to have to go across the jungle gym. So I wasn't wrong when I called it a jungle gym, because last time, and I'm going to hop up on it again, it's just as well. So I'll just make sure everything's within reach and go for it again. And we'll get this one attached. Okay, let's get some glue on there. And like I said, I've already leveled this, or plumbed it, or whatever you want to call it. And I know that it's true when it's up here like this. So I'm just going to go ahead, get this drove home. These screws are terrible. Absolute garbage. You know what? I'm going to try the other screws. I can leave that one in there. That's going to be in between the support. But that's absolute trash. They are terrible. Absolute garbage. You know it's bad when a decking screw is more reliable than a construction screw. That's it. So there's one other thing that I want to do before I get into the mesh now, and that is I want a headboard runner, because when I do bracing up on the front for dividing the cages, in the areas where I don't line up with a ceiling truss, I got nowhere to nail onto, and I don't want to get on the roof and screw down through the plywood to hold it in place. So I'm going to need a runner to hold it in place. So what I've decided to do is I'll take my level and come off the front of the frame. See if this will get it in frame for you. And I'll come up like this. I'll find true level. Find a good level spot right there. Hold that in place. And trace there. So now that marking will show me where to line up the front edge of my top runner. So I'll do that on all the beams, just in case there's a bow in the runner. I can adjust it back and forth as necessary. Okay. So I'll go ahead and just do these markings. I'll find out my total length again for the header, and I know the bottom one is 116.5, but I'll recheck that measurement just in case. So yeah, so I'll finish these measurements and I'll come back and we'll do the cut. It's just going to be a little smidge less than 116.5, like an eighth shorter. As well, this trim here, since it's 5.5 inches, is 2 inches below these 3.5 2x4s on the ceiling. So I'm going to have to take 2 inches off for that to really fit up flush. So I'll adjust for that as well when we're outside. So, due to the importance of this going on properly, and I don't want any screws, those construction screws specifically, bringing up and not going through, what I've done, I've changed the bit on my impact hammer to a newer bit, probably a bit more aggressive, sharper edges. Hopefully that'll help. As well, I'm going to pre-drill each hole, because I'm going through 3.5 inches of wood and then into the upper beam. So maybe it's just too much torque on the screw. So I'm going to start off by pre-drilling, at least that far anyways, and then I'll use the newer bit, and hopefully that will give me better success at getting this on properly. So let's find out. All right, that worked so far. Let's see if the luck continues. Alright, so at this point in time now, I think that's a sufficient amount of prep. It's time to get to the mesh. So I got a roll right here of, I think this is 1 inch by 1/2 inch mesh. And from what I've seen online and everything, this should be a good spacing to allow the poop to drop down through, while also giving the rabbits enough foot area or floor area to keep from getting sore hocks or sore feet. So that's the hope anyways. And this is, let's say, 16 gauge, 1/2 inch by 1 inch, 10 feet in length, 3 feet in width. And I got this off of Home Depot's website. That's where I got this one. So I'll get this opened up and just start spreading it out. So there's nothing really much more to say than that. So I'll kick you guys into a bit of music, a bit of time lapse, and hopefully this goes well. I'm just going to be trimming around any posts that I need to get around, and I'll be using my staple gun to attach it. I'll probably come back at a later date with some stronger staples, but for now I'm just using regular everyday staples in a staple gun. So let's get going. So there you have it, boys and girls. That is the mesh applied to the bottom floor frame of the cages. And it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, I'll be honest. There was a good portion there that I cut out of the video, and the rest, fast forward, it took some time because I wanted to get it right. It's an important part of the cages, and it was better to just do it right the first time, and that's what I did. I think I did anyways. It could probably use some stronger staples, but I got lots of the standard staples in it now, and as you see, the kiddos are sitting on it just fine, and it's holding up well. So that's the portion done, but unfortunately I'm out of time for today. It's supper time. I gotta get these kiddos fed, and I'm quite hungry myself, so we'll get ready and head off, get some supper, and we'll have to pick this up again in the next video. So until that next video happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out!